Welcome to Barbara's Bulletin, the podcast where we dive into the latest news and current events from around the world. I'm your host, Barbara, and I'm excited to share today's top stories with you. We're starting off with a significant development in international relations, as the recent U.S. strike on Venezuela has raised questions about the implications for global order and the potential impact on other regions, particularly Taiwan. The removal of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro has sparked debate about whether this could set a precedent for other countries to take similar actions, including China's ambitions towards Taiwan. China is the largest buyer of Venezuelan oil, and the country's leadership is likely to be concerned about the economic implications of Maduro's removal. However, experts believe that Beijing's long-term goals for Taiwan will not be significantly affected by this development. According to Bonnie Glaser, an Indo-Pacific expert at the German Marshall Fund, Maduro's capture is not a blueprint for Chinese takeover of Taiwan, and China will likely continue to rely on its gray zone tactics to exert pressure on the island. Ryan Hass, a former China director on the National Security Council, notes that Beijing will probably use the Venezuela affair to insist that the U.S. takes a more nuanced approach to international law, particularly in regions like the South China Sea. As the U.S. and China continue to navigate their complex relationship, it's clear that the rules of international law will be increasingly tested. As we consider the potential consequences of these actions, it's essential to remember that the situation is multifaceted and influenced by various factors. We'll be keeping a close eye on developments in Venezuela, Taiwan, and beyond, and exploring the implications for global stability and cooperation. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. We're diving into the latest international news, where tensions are rising in the Middle East and South Asia. Pakistan has issued a warning that neighboring Afghanistan is becoming a hub for terrorists, posing a significant threat to regional stability. According to Pakistani officials, the country's porous borders and lack of effective governance have created an environment conducive to terrorist activity. Meanwhile, in Syria, clashes between government forces and Kurdish fighters have resulted in civilian casualties and damage to residential areas. The conflict stems from a deal signed in March between the Syrian government and the Syrian Democratic Forces, which controls much of the northeast. The agreement aimed to merge the SDF with the Syrian army by the end of 2025, but progress has been slow, and disagreements have led to intermittent clashes. It's essential to note that both sides have accused each other of seeking to derail the agreement, with the Syrian government claiming the SDF is trying to provoke an open battle, while the SDF alleges that government forces are targeting residential neighborhoods. The situation remains volatile, with a tense calm currently in place, but the possibility of further clashes looms. As we continue to monitor these developments, it's crucial to recognize the complexities and nuances involved in these conflicts. We must consider the perspectives of all parties involved and strive for a balanced understanding of the issues at hand. The situation in Afghanistan and Syria serves as a reminder of the delicate nature of international relations and the need for diplomacy and cooperation to resolve disputes. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we wrap up today's show, I'd like to shift our focus to a pressing issue that's been making headlines around the world: asylum seekers and immigration policies. A recent report from the Irish Times has revealed a significant drop in the number of asylum applications in Ireland last year, with a total of 13,160 people applying for asylum in 2025, representing an almost 30% decrease from the previous year. This decline is attributed in part to the introduction of accelerated procedures for citizens of countries designated as safe countries of origin. Since November 2022, 15 countries have been added to this list, resulting in a 70% drop in applications from these nations. Additionally, over 1,600 asylum seekers voluntarily left Ireland last year, marking a 72% increase from 2024. It's essential to acknowledge the complexities surrounding immigration policies and the impact they have on individuals and communities. The Irish government's efforts to provide financial incentives for voluntary returns and reintegration assistance are notable, but it's crucial to consider the human stories behind these statistics. As we explore this topic, it's vital to remain fair and balanced, recognizing the diverse perspectives and experiences of those involved. From the asylum seekers seeking a safer life to the governments navigating the intricacies of immigration policies, each story deserves to be heard and considered. As we conclude today's segment, I encourage our listeners to engage in respectful and informed discussions about this critical issue. By doing so, we can work towards creating a more compassionate and inclusive environment for all individuals, regardless of their background or circumstances. That's all for today's Barbara's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged.